guys, Jason here. I am back with part 2 of what we're calling finger dexterity exercise. It's a 2-part series, so if you have not seen part 1, please go back and watch that video first, as this is somewhat of a variation of part 1. So for those of you who have seen part 1, welcome to part 2. Let's get started. Alright guys, that wraps it up for part 2 and the final part of this 2-part series that we're calling the finger dexterity exercise. And again, it's an exercise. It's not meant to be any kind of lick. I mean, I know there's some licks out there that are similar, but it's meant to be an exercise. It's meant to help you strengthen and build dexterity in your fingers. So I harped on more of the repetition. So if you saw part 1, which if you haven't, please go back and watch that. If you saw part 1, you'll know that this part 2 is really just another variation of what we did in part 1. So part 2, I harped a little more on the repetition piece, and that was one of the things, that was one of the 2 primary elements I covered in part 1. I talked about repetition. You have to do things over and over and over. The repetition makes you better. It strengthens, it builds, and I use the bodybuilding, the workout analogy to go with that. You know, you can't go in the gym and just do a few reps and expect to get results. You have to do them over and over and over, the repetition. And the second part that I covered, the second factor that's just as important as the repetitive phase, is the consistency. You know, and again, I use the bodybuilding analogy. You know, you can go have a great workout, but if you don't show up for another 2-3 weeks, if you're not consistent, you can't really expect results. So repetition and consistency, that will make you a better guitar player, a better musician, and that's what this 2-part series is really all about. So now you're probably wondering, what's Jason drinking today? Well, I'm excited to tell you about this beer. Let's get my very cool, I always have to show you guys this. I don't even know where I got it from. I think we got it in San Francisco. I could be wrong. Got it somewhere. Anyways, it's pretty cool. So we're entering the fall season. And if you guys watched my videos for the past few years, you know I love fall brews. I like some of the pumpkin beers are okay. Some of them are a little overboard. But just the fall brews, not necessarily the pumpkin flavored beers, but the fall brews in general, I really like. I really love this time of year for beer. So let's pop this open real quick. I should probably show you what the beer is first before I open it. So this beer is called Barktoberfest. Sorry about the lighting here. My studio has such crappy lighting, and I'm going to fix that at some point. So Barktoberfest, you see the dogs down here. My wife and I, we're like huge animal lovers. Like we have dogs and cats, and you know we feed the squirrels outside. So Dogtoberfest, and it's by a brewery called what is that called? It's backwards. I can't read it. I forgot the name of it. Thirsty Dog Brewing Company. I believe they're out of Akron, Ohio. So let's try a sip. Actually, I had a 6-pack of this, and I've already drank the other 5. So, but let's do the 6th one now. The best way I can describe this beer, first of all, it is delicious. This stuff is a little pricey, but you know, sometimes you get what you pay for. This beer is, I mean, I don't like to say I have a favorite beer. I mean, I have some beers that I drink more than others, like my Thai beers, my Singhai Chong. But this beer could easily turn into one of my favorite beers, and I am enticed now to try other beers from this brewery. So anyway, the best way I can describe this is it is a darker beer, and it's very full-bodied, but it's very balanced as well, if that makes sense. I almost taste a hint, and it could be, you know, me misinterpreting this. I almost taste a very slight hint of chocolate, of cocoa. I should say chocolate, I should say cocoa. So I don't know if that's an element in here, but that's what comes out. So it's by no means a chocolate beer, you know. But it is a traditional old world German style, I'm just reading the bottle, German style Oktoberfest, which is a fall celebration since 1810. So I just learned a little piece of history there, and I love history, so that's cool. But yeah, it's very it's a darker beer. It's on the dark side, and it's full body, but it's very well balanced, and it doesn't leave a bad aftertaste. So it's also 6% alcohol, so it's a little higher than like your standard beer. But yeah, this is good stuff. So Thirsty Dog Brewing Company, if you guys are watching this, thank you for making this beer. This is a very good beer. I will be trying more of your brews. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed this 2-part series. I'll be doing some more series similar to this coming up. So stay tuned and keep it metal.